In this video, we're going to go over how to animate our armature. I'm in pose mode right now, and I'm on frame 1. I set my animation to frame 60 so that I don't go too far. I can see it loop this way very nicely. And I'm actually going to set this to 59 in just a little bit. But for now, I want to put in my initial keyframes, and to do that I'm going to go along this, and at 1, 30, and 60 I'm going to go ahead and put in keyframes there for each of those. And so I'll do the first one here. I have everything selected. I'm going to hit I over the screen, make sure I have Blender selected here, so I'm going to do I, location, rotation, scale, just to hit everything there. I'm going to go to 30 and hit I again, location, rotation, scale, and I'm going to go to 60 and hit I, location, rotation, scale. And so I have all those keyframed, and there are some other options I really haven't played with so much with doing animations, like under the pose menu here on the bottom of the viewport. If I go up, there's actually sections that give you some additional options. Some of those are, you can go to where it says like pose library, say add pose, and I'm going to say add new, and I'm not sure where that puts it in at, but there we go. And so you can go through and add that. And then when I go back to pose library, okay, I could do browse poses, and although I don't know where that opens up, so it doesn't really help me per se there. Wonder if in our tools menu we have anything. Pose library, there we are. So we can cycle through the poses here to see what we get. Maybe we could try that out, we'll see. But I'm going to go part way in between the two poses that I had. So I'm going to go to frame about 15 here. And then you can always type in this little square here, you can type in 15, or you can use the arrows to go up and down. I'm going to look at this from the top, and I want orthographic view, so I hit 5 on the number pad. And I might need to rotate it a little bit to select a bone. I'm going to do one at a time here. I could set up a inverse kinematics thing to help animate and control the bones, but for right now I'm just going to play with it, animating one at a time. So I have the bone right after the midsection here selected. I'm going to hit R, I'm going to rotate it just a little bit. I'm going to hit I on the keypad, I'm going to do location, rotation, scale, and then I'm going to select the next one, and I'm going to rotate that just a little bit, and I'm going to do that again, and I'm going to keep repeating that process just to move things very slightly here. Rotate it first before I keyframe it. And unless we want to model a fish in panic, probably going one at a time here and making it very gradual works fairly well. My tail one, I'm actually going to rotate a little bit the opposite direction. And same with this one. And same with that one. And you can always see kind of what you like or don't like as you go. So I'm going to kind of just scroll through that. I can see the movement of that tail going one way and then back the other way. However subtle or unsubtle you want it. And up here towards the top of the fish, I'm going to rotate these a little bit too. And the head as well. Maybe I'll even move those just a little bit. And I'll also animate these guys, but I'll look at those from the front here. So I'm going to make this one go up quite a bit and make this one go down a little bit. Making sure that I'm still on the same frame as I was initially. And then we'll move that down just a smidge too as well. Okay, and then we're going to go ahead and call that good. I could do the top fin as well. Maybe we should do that. Give it a little rotation right there. We can do 7. So the top are rotated just a little bit. And maybe do this is probably fine. Although we could tip a little bit. Okay, so now since I keyframed at the beginning of the animation, I keyframe partway through this half. I have it going towards the fish's left and then back towards center. And now I'm going to do something similar to that, but I'm going to go up to frame 45 here. One more. And I'm going to animate the other direction. And so I'm going to go ahead and rotate this just a little bit. Select on this bone. I'm going to do that. And I'm just going to pause it for a moment. I'm going to continue to animate this going the other direction, and we'll get back. So I have my general animation done. I'm just letting it run through there as I kind of look around. And you'll notice when it recycles back, it kind of does a little pause there. And that's okay. We will be able to get rid of that a little bit later here. So now I want to switch the mode that I'm looking at my fish in. To do that, I'm going to change from the default view. I'm going to go to where it says Animation. And that'll open up a couple tools for us right away. One, it'll open up the graph editor. And actually, this dope sheet, this one's the graph editor down here. And I'm actually going to change this to the graph editor because that to me is more useful for this. And then I'm going to go ahead and pause my animation so I can see it a little bit better here. So I'm going to pause that. And right now, I'm going to widen this out too as well. So I don't need to see my fish as large, but there we go. So on the graph editor, we can see kind of as it goes from one thing to the next. Now, I don't see a lot here for the numbers of what's happening with the movement. And so what I want to do, first of all, I want to select all the bones. So I did A, selected everything. Here I have all my different lines. I'm going to go to where it says View. And I'm going to go to where it says, let's see, you don't use these for a little while, they all seem to disappear. Let's go to View Selected. So number pad, just the period on the number pad should do that too as well. Here I get to see the curves as they change over time. Same with those up there. Each of those is a different thing. So for instance, if I select just the tail, I should see just the tail highlighted depending on which one is which. So I'm going to go and select all these again. A to toggle off selection, and then to toggle selection back. Excuse me. And so now with all those selected, I can actually adjust those back and forth. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to where it says channel, and I'm going to go to extrapolation mode, and I'm going to say make cyclic. And so now it starts to go back and forth. So if I extend my animation time out, so if I go down to my timeline editor, let's say that I say the end frame is going to be 500, enter, and we go back to the beginning and hit play. That should speed up a little bit. Let's actually do just this. Looking at the editor there is what was slowing it down a little bit. Still get a little bit of hesitation there. And with the timeline view, kind of take a look and see where that is. So it's right as it comes back in the middle, switches back to the other one. And so I'm going to go ahead and do shift space to go out of that view again. And I want to see what it's doing between those spots. So I'm going to pause my animation. And you'll notice that here is where I have my selections. Here I have the duplicated sets as they go down. And I can play with those a little bit later to see if I can smooth out that animation. I think that might be happening right here. Here I have like a little bit twice as long as normal between the different sets. And these are actually my animations on one of my sets is longer than the other, but then I have this being a little bit longer than the others as well. A to deselect, B is box select, and you can scroll in and out to zoom. And so I could adjust that a little bit later too. So anyway, this is all something that you can play around with. There are lots of different options available with armatures. This is just the very basics of getting started with it. Playing around. If I fiddle around too much, we'll add lots of minutes onto the video. But you can move points back and forth by hitting G and altering that. If I want to make sure it doesn't move up or down, because as you can see it changes the rotation on the fish, then what I'll want to do is hit X for the x-axis, say I only want to move along that axis, and then you could alter things and move them where you want. I'm going to hit escape so it doesn't actually change anything. I'll see if I can figure out how to smooth that extra little animation out in a bit, but those are kind of the basics. There we go.